Hi, this is Kevin Trainer. Welcome to my tutorial on relocating misplaced columns. Okay, now what do we mean by that? Well, let's take a look at the chart that we're using to keep oriented during this process. This is one of a series of tutorials that I'm doing on logical database design. And I'm working on the third major grouping, normalize. We've already been through the first three of the activities under normalize, and now we've come to the fourth one, relocate misplaced columns. Now, this is a typical normalization problem. And this is one that when you read the database books, they sometimes give you help that just, well, for me, it just hurts my head. They talk about second normal form, and they talk about third normal form, and they talk about whether the column is dependent upon the primary key, whether the column is dependent upon the primary key and no other column, and it just goes on and on and on. And it's for technical database theorists, I guess. I think this is a really appealing way to look at the issue because it gives you a diagnosis about what's wrong with the column, why it's in the wrong place, because of its relationship to the key. This key-centric view of the world is I think, not helpful for your average person who's newer to database design. And so what I like to do is I like to get you thinking about whether you have the column on the right table, okay? And if you put the column on the other table, okay, so let's say we have a column that's on a wrong table. How will we know? How will we know we need to relocate it to the right table? Well, typically, we're going to have redundant entries in that table because of the fact that we have the column on the wrong table. And that's what I really want to focus you on. So let's look at a column that I think is in the right table right now. Okay? So we have course location, okay? We have it on the course offering. All right, now, how do things really work? Well, I'm putting this together for my students at UWM. And at UWM, when we have a course, we, at least in our department, we always have it in the same location, okay? We don't have it in one location on Monday and another location on Thursday. We don't have it in one location for the first half of the semester and another location for the second half of the semester. For each section that we teach, we locate it in one place, okay? So putting that course location column on course offering is just the right place to put it. But let's assume that it's not there. Let's say that we accidentally put it under class meeting. Okay, let's put that there. So we don't want a primary key attribute. For some reason, it's very much into primary keys right now. So we got to tell this is not a primary key. Set primary key off. Okay. And let's call this, I forget what we call it. Let's just call it location right now. Okay. And let's just say that it's a character string. So that's going to be type varchar. Okay, well that looks good. Now, admittedly, each class meeting is in a location, right? So that's sort of a true relationship. The problem is that all the meetings are in the same location. So let's say for a typical class, we have, we meet maybe for 16 weeks. And let's say this is a 2 times a week affair. So we would have 32 class meetings for that class. So we'd have a location like English 401 or Northwest Quad D 1990, which is I seem to teach in a lot. And how many times would we have to put this in? Well, we'd have to put it on each row for a class meeting. We'd have to put the location in 32 times. Well, why is that worse than having it on course offering? Well, it's worse because for that course offering, we have a single row. We'd have to populate that once. Okay, let's think about that. So let's say that we have a burst pipe in a particular classroom, and we're going to need to move it. We're going to need to move the course. So instead of being in our favorite Northwest Quad 1990, we're going to have to move over to English 401. So we go, so in the original design, we just have to go to course offering and change one column value on one row. But in this denormalized design where we have mislocated the location column, we have to go change 32 rows. That's a bad idea. That's why it's redundant data. Okay, so what do? Well, we just say, well, this is not a well-placed column. Let's relocate it. So let's cut this column. Okay. I don't know if we can paste the column or not. Let's see. We're going to try. So let's try and insert attribute after. And can we paste? Paste. Oh, isn't that nice? I could have done that even without adding that other attribute. Well, that's more functional than I even knew that our Visio diagrammer could do. So here, we really had the location column in the right spot, on the right table all along. Okay, and so we had to break it in order to fix it. But what was the symptom that we saw when it was in the wrong spot? It's almost always going to be the symptom that you have to create too many rows. You have to put redundant entries into the database because you have the column on the wrong table. So in this case, we went from having to put the location on one row for a particular course offering to having to put them on 32 rows for each class meeting. That's a lot of redundant data. It's 32 times as much data. Okay. 32 times as much opportunity to make a mistake. A lot of opportunity to get things to disagree with each other. Okay, so you see the one meeting is in one classroom and another is in another classroom, and we know that's just not the policy of this department, right? So how do we solve it? Well, we just put the column back onto course offering. Now we just have to put one value into one column on one row for the course offering, and we're back to a normalized database. So you could talk about this in terms of whether location was dependent on particular keys or not. And you might find that helpful, in which case I invite you to go look at some of our textbooks on this. But this redundant data analysis is, I think, your best bet, especially as more of a beginner designer. So having done that, I'm going to sign off until we get to the next part. Bye-bye.